join us today. Paola has such an interesting story. She left Castellammare del Golfo when she was 17 for the big city, New York City. She left Castellammare del Golfo in the late 60s, right? And so, what was it like? First of all, before we go into why you left, what was it like going to the big city from Castellammare del
Now,
Golfo?
when you're 17 and you live in a small town, and then it looks ahead of you a big city like Manhattan, New York City, United States. You just heard about it, but then you are still going there. It's so exciting, and it started beautifully because we went by boat. It was on Michelangelo and the Raffaello, the new cruise ships. So that was my first cruise, and we stopped in Naples. We left from Palermo and we said goodbye to all my friends. Everybody was crying. And I said, "Why are you crying? It was so beautiful. I was going to a new world, to a new experience." And then we stopped in Naples, Genova, Cannes, Lisbon. And then after 5 days of crossing the Atlantic, we got to New York City.
Wow.
Beautiful. The skyscrapers, they were lovely. It was so nice. And over there, we met my aunt, my cousin. It was a beautiful welcome. And I have to say, we did not suffer much because we found some family and friends. And it was great. It was beautiful. And I wish everybody that would go away would have that kind of experience.
And so, what about your mom? So you went with your mom and your siblings, but your dad already came here first.
Right, it was here, and then but then he came after us because he close. We have a farm. We still have the farm that where I took you beside behind the mountain, and so he made sure that everything was done. He finished the harvest of the year, and then he met us in New York. And he also came by boat, and other family members, relatives came at that time. So it was a big, happy family away from home, even though we did miss Castellammare.
Yeah.
Um,
That must have been scary though. And some people are saying there's a little bit of a poor connection, and we're doing the best we can right now with we had a little bit of a emergency happen here. You know what happened? I'll tell you guys what happened. Paula's cooking up a storm up there. She put the oven on and blew out the fuses. And so, we're doing the best we can. We'll keep going for as long as you can. Let us know, by the way, if you can hear us, if you can see us, and so forth. What were the conditions like here in the late 60s that made your dad move over there?
well, economically, like my father was a farmer, and we always say like 1 year you don't get a lot of crop because too much rain, too little rain, too hot, too cold, and like when he went to the States, he really loved it because he was working 7 days or 5 days, and whenever he was working, we get paid, and he loved it. So it was a
Something
much
different, right?
right. It was a much easier life, And that Sicilian, especially, they're very hardworking. So he was not afraid to work overtime and for the benefits of the family. Because when he went to the state by himself, he would just send my mom the money so we could have, everything. And it was really nice. We were waiting for the nice letter to come, with the money in. It was beautiful. It was really nice. Even though we missed my dad. And then like when you're a kid and you
Keep
hear
talking.
that,
Yeah, keep talking.
you like what you do, it's you really envision this beautiful place. And that's what I experienced in New York. Like
And
it
so
was
you
nice.
went there at the age of 17. You had finished school, and then you
I
went to.
I not finished school. I'm sorry. I interrupted school. I was at the first Liceo Classico, which is high school superior. I
Okay.
took all my report cards. I did the last year of high school in New York. No, the first 6 months when I got there, we got to New York in November 8th. And in January, I went to school to New York University for the English for foreigners. So I did 6 months there.
So imagine she didn't speak any English.
and
Oh.
and it was nice because I was the youngest person there, and we had English classes, and you had people like 40, 50. I was only 17, but that was enough for me to get used to English with the conversation, and we went to school 4 days a week. Then there was the class for foreigners. Every Friday we would go to sightseeing. So we went to Statue of Liberty.
Oh.
We went to Fort Thailand. We went to Ellis Island. We did a lot of sightseeing, and it was very interesting because I already was part of Manhattan, of New York City.
So if you guys see me getting a little distracted, is because of the internet problems that we're having here. So hopefully we can get through this a little bit better. I want to ask you, what did you miss about Sicily?
What I miss about Sicily was the colors, the smell, the freedom to go, the beautiful views. Because when you're here, whether if you come in the wintertime, you have some kind of colors. You come in the spring, all the flowers, the color of the sky, of the water.
I'm sure you missed this stuff. Look at that. Pick that
like-
fig from her garden. Oops, let me see. Look at this zucchini, you guys. And you know what she's going to do with this?
Gonna barbecue.
Barbecue. It's also good with
And
pasta. And I'm sure you miss all the good produce.
And this figs, and also the fact that we could go out in our garden and pick up all the fruits. You'd have to go to the supermarket to buy them.
And we can do that here too, right? We can go and get all the fruits.
And that's why when people, now that we build these vacation homes, people come just keep on coming back because they know that we have this beautiful garden, and they could go and pick up their eggplants and lemons, zucchini,
the
tomatoes,
figs, the mulberries,
everything.
So before I go on, let me just tell you that Paola has a travel agency, and she also has some villas and apartments for rent in Alcama Marina and also in Castellammare del Golfo. And let me tell you guys, she is the hostess with the mostest. When you come here, you will be treated like family, really like family. One of the things that I love, we talk about going and picking the fruits and vegetables, but also cooking with you. You make it such an experience, right? What's that line that we were making fresh meatballs with Alfred's grandkids, and you had this line about if you're not good, you're not going to eat. What did you say?
I would say, are you going to eat it? You like it? If you don't like it, you better eat it. And you have to be a good kid. Otherwise, no meatballs for you.
It's serious business here. It's serious business here.
And then when we had the French kids making the fresh pasta, the macaroni, he was so chilled, beautiful. They were so excited. They were making their own pasta. And then when we make the castatelle, everybody knows about castatelle. No, they are only from Castellammare.
Who knows about castatelle? Anyone here getting a little bit? Our friend Dr. Rosemary says you have a beautiful smile. She is delightful for sure. Let's just say hello to some people. We've got Pat here, Jimmy's here, Peter Scipoletti, and Jean. Okay, good. Very good. Very good to hear. I want to know if you guys have any questions for Paola. Hundreds of thousands of Sicilians, but yet millions of great stories with each of their own. All of these stories are treasure in its own right. I agree, Nick, for sure. Okay, so B is here. I had to go back into reopen. Okay. We have guests here right now, so that is very nice. Okay, so I want to ask you, when you leave Sicily, because Paola comes here and takes care of the property, also working, renting place. When you leave Sicily to go back to New York for the several months that you are there, how do you feel?
Well, I feel I cannot leave, okay, because it's like what's happening here, to the house, to my friends, to the relationship. I would miss that going going, even like if I live in October, it's already, the weather is so beautiful. Um, but like you cannot go to the beach much, but still like it's everything. It's so beautiful, and the sightseeing around, like, and on the last day, I don't know if any of our, visitors have been on this part of Western Sicily where we have the mountains and then the water, Lo Zingaro, San Vito Lo Capo, Scopello, Guidaloca, and going down coming from there, looking towards Palermo, the view is beautiful. And
It's
that's
magical.
on my last day, that's what I do. I try to keep with me those scenery. And and I am okay because I go back to my family, of course. But April comes and it's
I
time
was
to
just
come
gonna
back.
say, how do you feel when you come back?
Ah,
I remember when Alfred and I used to do just, 7 months here, 5 months there. I used to count down in the United States the days till we go back to Sicily. And then departing Sicily, I would get so sad. What's going to be our last meal? What's going to be our last
And
stop? Or where are we going to go
and
for
you
our
know,
last
and you
time?
know something? You're not the only one. This morning, when Nancy left, she was crying.
Uh-uh.
Last night we're having this. It's our last supper. Leandro was saying, and they come back every year. They're like for 2 or 3 weeks, and but like just every time they leave, it's just it's
It's emotional. It's
right.
emotional.
It's a part of you.
B
that
wants to know what's for dinner tonight.
For dinner tonight we have eggplant. Fresh eggplant that I pick up from my garden, and I'm going to make a nice caponata with capers from Favignana, with onions from the garden down here, basil, fresh basil, and our own wine vinegar. So that's
it. And then you made sauce.
Then
She's been busy cooking all day.
Sauce and I made some meatballs with my meatballs are a little special because
Everything you make is special.
I just I want everybody to know that you could even use meat to make meatballs.
Because she puts all types of other
Because I put
things.
zucchini, I put potatoes, I put eggplants, some chopped almonds, no raisins now. And so they're very fresh parsley, aglio or garlic from Nubia. Because one nice thing
Now,
about
for people who don't know, where's Nubia?
it's near
Nubia?
Marsala.
No, I'm just playing with the reception here.
Um,
You guys, give me a comment about how's the reception. I'm still seeing a little bit of difficulties, but go ahead, Paola. So what else are you making?
And then we are going to make some roast eggplants and some roast zucchini peppers, and then our fennel sausage on the barbecue.
That's my favorite.
And the sausage we're going to have tonight, it's the one with sun-dried tomatoes and with all Sicilian spices. So you're going to love it.
Everything here is great.
Should we invite everybody to come over?
Oh, yeah, you guys want to come over? Okay. People want to know, still blurry. Do you rent small apartments on yearly basis?
On yearly basis? Well, I'm finishing two apartments in town because the apartments by the beach, they're okay from April till October, but then in the winter months, because this is a summer resort, it's kind of isolated.
Yeah.
So it's in the summer looks beautiful because everybody's around, because of vegetation, the flowers, the sea, it's amazing. But then in the winter time, I'd be kind of lonely and not so pretty. So
yeah, the winter months can be a little bit difficult.
Nasty,
So I saw someone else say, do you have a place in November? James Ingram said in November, you will not be here in November, right?
Okay, if it's sometimes November, that I usually rent the villa in Castellammare. the villa, because
Yes.
we
But
have.
that's a big villa.
Well, they could rent the bottom floor.
Yes.
It's only 2 people, 4 people.
One
but
person.
One person. It's like,
Send me a message. We'll try and make
wait
something
till
work.
when I think I should have the apartments finished by August, and that would be fine. That would be nice because you would be in town.
Let me tell you, having the Paola experience is something very special, as all of our clients can attest to. Coming here, she's so open, so warm, so welcome. You see her the way she is, and she will treat you great. I want to ask you a couple of other questions. We talked about you and how you felt. How did your mom and brother feel going from this to the big New York City?
Well, my brother was okay with it because he was young. He was, he was 20, so for him it was exciting too. Then like it was okay. My mom was a little less happy because of she left our house. The one that we are fixing now was done in the 30s, and it was a beautiful house. Not fancy. It was not a castle, but the rooms were well lighted, beautiful tiles on the floor, whatever was the style of the time. So she had the furniture. She like when she left the part of herself.
Ugh.
That's
really courageous and brave. That is really, going to seek a better future in the United States and leave her home. That's courageous.
The funniest thing was that 6 months later, my aunt was coming, and she said, "Can you bring me a loaf of bread from Castellammare?"
Want to know what I bring my mom when I go home? I bring her bread. To Boston. I bring her bread all the time.
Like she said she was missing the bread. And I said, because she said the bread in New York had no taste.
Mm-hmm.
Then after a while you get used to it.
Yeah.
But we always used, we started to come back.
Did your parents learn English?
Ah.
Your mother, no.
My father neither.
I had the great honor and pleasure of meeting your mom and your aunt, and it was all Sicilian all the time.
When my mother, we spoke Sicilian at home, but when she would meet somebody that spoke English, she would speak to her in Italian, in the Italian language. That was funny.
That makes sense.
Right.
Pat wants to know, do you keep a journal?
Yes, here and there, right? Of whatever, not really, but I review everything that happens.
All the time.
And I always keep the nice memories, and it's nice experiences that I share with my children, because that's also very important.
And I want to say that because you bring your kids over here
I
all the time.
I always took my kids every summer. I had, when I was working at the Italian Tech Commission, I had 33 days of vacation. I tried to extend a little bit, and so I would take the kids here. So they embraced our culture. They embraced that.
They always say they love coming here whenever any of your
Santino got married here, my son. 6 years ago, he got married.
Oh, that's another thing she does. She does wedding planning.
And Alessio, it's going to get married here next year, July 5. A lot of my family members, everybody loves to come here.
Why not? Listen, let me go see Alfred Zappola. He's somewhere in there. Let me just go see if he'll come on. You know what? I'm thinking we are definitely going to have you on one more time when we have better reception, because we're having a little bit of problems at the beginning. Let me go get Alfred. Why don't you tell them some of the favorite places that you like to visit when coming to Sicily? Besides Castellammare, and Etna better be on there. My side of town better be on there. Let me go get Alfred.
You have been talking about Etna so much, so people want to hear. We are on the western part of Sicily, and Castellammare is the last town on the coast before getting to San Vito lo Capo. it's interesting to know that what it's in front of us is the Tyrrhenian Sea. You go by boat less than 1 hour, and you turn around, and you will be in the Mediterranean. San Vito lo Capo, it's the angle, the point of
San
Sicily.
Vito lo Capo is the northwesternmost point of
Right,
Sicily.
right.
That's a beautiful place.
And once you turn around, you will be on the Mediterranean Sea. And that's where the islands of Favignana, Marettimo, and Levens are. Favignana is the biggest island. And then, like, once from San Vito, you go down to Trapani, Marsala, Mazzara, and then you keep on going Castelvetrano, Sciacca, and then you
Speaking
go
of
around.
Sciacca, this is what I got Alfred today. He's going to come on Wednesday. But this is what I got Alfred today in Sciacca. I thought it was very fitting. Paola, what does this mean? Well, un mafioso. And then what does this mean? Anche a arte sogno a mafiosa. Look at that. And you know what? And there's the Sicilian flag. Every time I go down somewhere, I get him a little ceramic.
It's interesting to find out that here in Castellammare, we always kept. I've been away since '68, but after 3 or 4 years, we kept on coming back. So I kept my relationship with my schoolmates.
Yeah.
And one of my friends, which was teaching me Latin and Greek, right? He was, and because he was a teacher of Italian, a professor. Now he's the director of the Sicilian Association. So what they do in Castellammare, and he's saying, so they're like, he puts together all these people that write Sicilian. And
what's his name?
Vincenzo Vitale, Professore Vincenzo
Very
Vitale.
interesting.
And he works with Cipolla.
Oh, Gaetano Cipolla. You guys have heard us talk about Gaetano Cipolla very often.
Right, from St. John, right?
Yeah.
He does a lot of, so he writes beautiful poems. And every July, at the entrance of Lo Zingaro, they have all poets from the Trapanese area, coming and recite the poems that they write in Sicilian.
When is this?
Usually, like last year was July 17.
That is beautiful. And now let me ask you. No, go ahead.
No. What I meant, I cannot say. Because it's a surprise for my cousin that's going to get married here.
Okay, well, don't share this video with them. Just tell me.
Right.
Tell me
that her future husband does not speak Italian,
and he's learning. That's right. You told me that.
Learning.
That's so beautiful.
A song, so he could do a serenata. Coach d'amore. So he could do a serenata to her in
Can
Sicilian.
You sing a little bit? That song?
I don't know. Well, like I could tell you what it's about. It's just this guy that's so much in love with this lady, and I guess she does not returns the love. And he says, every time that I see you, my heart, it just breaks. And Coach d'amore, and Coach d'amore, beautiful. La faccia tua è una bandiera. You are like
your face
your flag.
Is like a flag.
And it's like a flag, and it's like when I look at you, when you speak, it's like a poem. Oh, it's so romantic.
Sicilians are so romantic, for sure. Linda says, my nonna and nonno arrived in New York in 1900. He was a baker in Palermo, but worked as a longshoreman on the Blinn docks. He became a citizen. That's beautiful. Let me read a couple more. My family connection is my grandfather, his 3 brothers, and my parents. They lived in Contratta Spagnola, right by the sea pans. Beautiful. All right, a few more minutes here with Paola, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Go ahead. No, what I want to say that also being Italian in New York, as you could see from my accent, I lose my Sicilianity, okay? And we are very helpful to the Italian community
Yeah.
because my husband is the only one now in our neighborhood, Ridgewood, that does the translations, that does the legal papers, that does the power of attorney for people that want to buy and sell property in Italy. Because we have a lot of people that don't come back, but they still have property over
Yeah.
here, and so it has
That's
been,
good to know, you guys. Did you hear that?
and the Italian citizenship that like we in our area we handle that too, to, through some connection we have here in Castellammare.
Dr. Rosemary, your coverage of the flowers of Noto was stunning. Thank you. My pleasure. That was something that we just published. It was a little bonus video here for you guys. Just one more thing. You talked about your kids coming here. Did you teach your kids Sicilian?
Of course, no, I taught them Italian, but because my father, my mother, and my aunt and everybody will speak Sicilian, they will also speak Sicilian. They will say, Mario, Santino, Sergio, you have to speak Italian because once you go there, because it was like the Sicilian 50 years ago. And they said, but we are speaking to nonno and we are playing.
And what about your grandkids?
They do also speak a little bit of Italian, and Vera. She's so
little princess,
and she does and sometimes she says, so nonna, how do you say this in Italian? Because it is nice even for them to know the tradition. And my daughter also, Katie's learning, and so is Katie. Everybody's Katie, Alessia's girlfriend. And she's learning. You want to hear
wait a sec. Where were your children born? New York.
All in New York. Yes.
All in New York.
But because I took
Ciao
them,
bella gente Castellammare del Golfo, il mio posto preferito per la vacanza, Mizio, USA. It's his favorite place too. Next time you come, you have to look up Paola or send me a note.
Where do you live?
My Sicilianity, she says. She just said it all. My Sicilianity. Great. Okay, so your grandkids, yes. I want to ask you one final question, and you guys, I promise we'll have her on and maybe just pre-record something with Paola, because this is great information, and I love your enthusiasm for Sicily, for everything Sicilian, the language, the foods, and actually people. She has such a passion for people. For people that have never been here, maybe wanting to, actually I have two questions for you. For people who have never been here and want to come here and sort of, concerned about, we talk about some of the problems here. Let me ask you this. Living here, there are some problems that you face. Bureaucracy, some, trash, blah, blah, blah. What would you say are perhaps your biggest problems?
Okay. If you come here on vacation, okay,
you don't have a problem.
Because what you have to take the best of whatever the island has to offer.
Brava.
Okay, you cannot compare. You cannot compare a small town. Well, we have about 13,000 people in town, but you cannot compare to New York City, to Detroit, to Chicago, to a big city where there is the big investors to a big hotel. You have to be able to embrace and to appreciate the
beauty. You living here, because we have some viewers who are thinking about retiring here, maybe doing 90 days and so forth. And so Alfred and I talk a lot about the challenges.
It's you have to live with it. Okay.
Period. End of sentence. You have to live with it. That's a good.
That's
I always go like this. Well, my quality of life and some of the hassles, and
I go
compared
down
to United
the beach.
States.
I came back from the beach. I was yelling at the people that had nothing to do with it. I said, "When are you going to clean the beach? When are you doing that?" And they said, "Well, we don't know." I said, "What do you mean you don't know? You should know. You should. I'm paying taxes. I'm paying this. Why? Why don't you go to the municipality? I'm going to speak to the mayor." I never did, but I'm waiting for my next door neighbor, which is is politically very influential.
Okay.
So like, I'm going to tell them,
Get it done.
right, and now I'm not going to say Mister. I said I get by the first name. I said, listen, they're like, we need to get things moving. Sicily, it's so beautiful. All Sicily is beautiful. And so you could come and just get the best out of it. Things you don't like, just pass.
Look the other
Right.
way.
That's
Listen, I want to tell you, you have been a dear friend for many years. You're a great hostess. We love you very much. Thank you for spending this little time. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
One thing that I want to say is that if whoever wants to come, whether it be with you, with me, they will experience the real Sicily. That's so important. It's not a tour that has no meaning. The most famous places, you will discover places the only people that live in the island will know about it. Okay,
Brava. Love you.
Ciao.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you Wednesday. Thanks so much, you guys, for sticking by during this.
And if you think of any questions, just
message me, and we'll see you on another video. Ciao, and as Alfred would say, sambanadita. Sambanadita.
Asa Benedica.
Sambanadita. There you go.
Ciao.